Farah Hannoun for MMA Junkie, and I'm joined by Brian Ortega, who takes on Chan Sung Jung at the UFC's October 17 main event. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just finishing up training, and I have a bad habit right now, like I told you, of leaving my house without my wallet. So I'm on empty, and I'm trying
Oh,
to figure this shit out right now.
wait, do you leave your license or just your money?
Uh, I have no money. I had like $7. I had $7, and I gave it to a guy that was selling flowers, and now I'm like, damn, I could have used that money. At least I get home right now.
Are you home? Like, are you far away from your house now, or are you home, or what?
Like 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away.
Okay, well, hopefully you won't need any cash within the next 20 minutes or so. Uh, Obviously your fight finally came together. It's taken a while. Was there at any point a chance of you fighting somebody else, or was it just a matter of him not being able to compete in the US and them waiting for Fight Island?
Honestly, it was basically me and him were locked into each other based off of a couple a little sequence of events that took place in Vegas. Kind of made it more on Dana's priorities to make this fight happen. But no other names were really called up upon me besides his. Um, we just had to wait for him to heal up from eye surgery or something that he had, and then get back in there with him.
And it went from brief talks of September, Mexico City. I mean, talking about last September, of course, and then December in his home country, and then now in Abu Dhabi with no fans. Is part of you a little disappointed that maybe it's not home or enemy territory, that it ended up being in Abu Dhabi?
Not really. I do better with no crowds. It takes away less of the pressure. Obviously, the crowd sometimes gives you more motivation when you're in there when you're doing good. But other than that, I mean, I trained my whole life in basically silence, where people around me were watching. So it's not gonna be nothing new.
A lot of you guys get asked this question about the bigger cage, because obviously some people had complaints about the Apex Center, it being the smaller octagon. Are you happy that it's the bigger cage, or it doesn't matter to you?
I just found out right now when you said that. I had no idea we had a bigger or smaller cage. Um, I don't care. I don't care. Big cage, small cage, cage to cage. Fight's a fight. Uh, to me, it never really mattered the size of the cage. The smaller cage does make more of a forceful fight. It makes it more high paced. Then the big cage makes it a little more, a little bit slower maybe, because you have all this space to move and dance around. But I mean, I don't think it matters. Once me and him both want to take each other's head off, so it's gonna be big cage or small cage. I don't think there's gonna be a difference.
And yeah, and obviously a lot's happened between you guys since last December. We don't need to like get into the details of it. Obviously, everybody knows. But at this point, has it become personal in your opinion? Like, does the score have to be settled? Would have you been disappointed if they offered you somebody else and you didn't fight him? Like, in your opinion, did this fight have to happen?
No, I'm not personal at all. Like I said, I had my moment. I handled my moment. I did what I did. Um, and that was it. I don't think about it too much. I don't think about it on the daily. It doesn't bother me. I don't look at that as bad blood or anything. I'm just like, yo, like Logan Paul said, man, I was even after I did my incident, I walked past him and I was very calm. I was like, man, just talk shit, get hit, man. That's where I come from. Like I told Brett earlier, I go, the Diaz brothers aren't the only people that are from a city where if you're acting a certain way, you get slapped. Um, and yeah, as much as you grow up and you try to learn things to do better, sometimes it comes out, and it came out.
So tell me, how do you see this fight between you and Korean Zombie playing out?
A slugfest basically. Me and him kind of already have our thing where we
want to hit each other in the face. So yeah, I honestly I just see a slugfest and some technical work, but it, yeah, we kind of don't like each other.
And after you talked about making some recent changes, and I've seen you train with the likes of Cub Swanson, a former opponent, TJ Dillashaw, Juan Archuleta. Tell me a little bit of how that happened, that link up with the gym happened, and how you ended up there.
I basically started training with Tiki Gossin at his gym, which is my new manager, and he manages Juan as well. So me and Juan started training together. Juan's good friends with Cub and TJ and all those guys. So we basically kind of just had a little talk, was kind of cool with each other, and then we just started training.
I'm assuming that's like I know you still train with Henner, of course, and that's kind of your new setup. You go back and forth from Henner and there.
Yes, I'm basically with Henner at the Gracie Academy, and then I'm with T. Gossin at HB Ultimate.
And in terms of this fight, what do you feel like the implications are? Because obviously on the other side of the bracket, there's Yair and Zabit, which hasn't been officially announced yet, but it appears like it's not going to be a 5-round fight, while yours and Zombies is. So are you looking at your fight as a #1 contender fight?
Basically, from what I've heard, and I posted on my social media, and Dana White said it himself. He said the winner of this fight gets the shot to fight for the belt. I don't make the rules. I don't do nothing, but it came straight from the horse's mouth. I've never heard him talk about anybody else having the title shot after their fight. I heard it from this fight, so I don't know what anyone else is talking about.
All right. And what are your thoughts on the champion, Alexander Volkanovski? Did you watch his last fight with Max Holloway, and did you think he won that fight?
He's very technical. He's smart the way he plays in there. Uh, he knows how to work the ring. He knows how to accumulate points, uh, and get the victory. If it's not through finish via decision, right? He knows how to stay ahead on the scorecards, which is very smart. And I mean, he's as far as I've seen, he's a smart guy, great athlete, and he knows how to work it. So that's it. But any man, like I said, any man in there at a given day can have their day. And so it's just a chess game. People and styles match up differently. But I think he's a great guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. I saw him at the club in Vegas. Came up to me, shook my hand. Uh, Solid dude.
Did you score the fight for him in the rematch against Max?
Um, I had to look at it again, and it's like I don't know, man. You get little things, but on the technical, on the little small technical point scoring things, uh, it looked like he won the fight. I'm not a judge, nor do I know how to judge a fight. Um, I just kind of see what both are doing, but I don't know.
And what's it been like for you in this time off? Have you been keeping a close eye on the division? Did you kind of zone out a little bit and take some time off, or were you constantly like watching the fights, keeping a close eye on the division and all that?
So I basically don't watch too much of any sport at all. So I don't keep up with anything unless the fight is in my weight class or not in my weight class or the weight class I'm in. Um, if it's a 45 fight, I'm watching. If it's a person that I'm a fan of, I'm watching. Other than that, I'm not really watching the fights.
Yeah, so you've been watching your division at least, yeah?
Yes.
And what do you think, kind of like the new wave of contenders? You got the Josh Emmets, the Calvin Caters. Are you surprised to see what it's a little bit different than a couple years ago when you challenged for the title? Are you surprised to see where it's gone, or are these guys been on your radar at all?
Everyone's on my radar. If you're a 45er, um, everyone's on the radar. You never know who climbs up. You never know who goes down and shoots right back up. Yeah, there's so many factors. So you got to really keep a close eye on everyone as much as you can and study all of them and kind of see their degression or progression and see and visualize yourself fighting them and what you would do and how would you react in certain situations, or if you were their opponent and during their fight, what makes you different than his opponent, and would just you kind of just put yourself in there and study them. And then I have my team as well who kind of give me extra homework, especially when I didn't have a fight lined up. It was like, yo, you see this guy, you might face him one day, so let's start learning how to do this, or let's start learning how to do that. So yeah, we constantly watch people, we study them, and we get ready for them, and we bring training partners who can emulate them to their best of their abilities, and we get to work.
What has this training camp looked like for you? Obviously, you've made the changes, but when COVID hit and everything, were you forced to kind of make a lot of adjustments, or did you have kind of your system set by then?
We had to shut down everything, right? Um, One of my friends, Alex, I call him Big Al. He has a gym that he privately made. Put a bag in there for me and everything, and got some people tested, and we just worked in there. So the work never stopped. My friend Mike Safai, strength and conditioning coach, told me this year is gonna go down in history. When COVID happened and the world was on shutdown, what did you do? Did you eat a bunch of cupcakes and get fat and relax? Or did you put in a lot of work? I chose to put in a lot of work and kind of get fat, but mostly put in work. So that's that's kind of what we did. We trained nonstop. We tested constantly. When things got a little bit better, I had more of an opening to people as long as they're willing to get tested on weekly, and we just kept going.
And
We haven't stopped.
how have you
What is
found the
it?
changes? Because obviously you before you talked about like training out of your garage and the changes that you wanted to make. How have you found that change, like being with a new team? Has it been a tough adjustment, or has it been pretty smooth?
It's been smooth, just because the way I learn is exactly perfect to their teachings. They teach very like slow, methodical, step by step details and breakdown. And me being an instructor under Henner, I've really had to study, and there's a certain way I understand information, and their abilities to simulate that and teach to that style was great. Like Jason Park teaches amazing, Paul Herrera teaches good. All the people I have on my team, they're good at breaking it down and basically explaining the what, hows, whys of the techniques, and letting me just kind of use it during battle or during sparring and test it out, see what works, see what doesn't work, see what adjustments we need to make. But it's been smooth, besides the failing part of the situations, like the black eye, right, right there, like little things like that where you kind of forget some things to keep your hands up. You get reminded. So yeah, it's pretty good. Can't complain about it.
Has it been mentally fatiguing having to think about Korean Zombie for so long, and you've kind of known that you're going to fight him for so long? Has it been mentally fatiguing at all?
No, I don't think about that guy daily. I have my life is pretty good. uh, it's you think about him now that you signed the fight, and for a fact it's happening, and then you try to just see what you're gonna do when you get in there, and you try to do it to your best of your abilities, and also understand the fact that he's gonna show up a different fighter as well. So just be prepared for that too, and adjust. Being able to adjust in the midst of the craziness, which is what I am pretty good at. Um, I've never had a game plan, so it's pretty good to know that I can freestyle the whole fight and still adapt and adjust to everything. And now I speak. I'm starting to learn how to speak fighting language. Like, hey, do this, do that, and he's doing this, and then like the way they're communicating to me to make me understand the patterns and movements that my opponents are doing are better than they I've ever had before.
Who's going to be in your corner for the fight?
Henner Gracie, and the rest is to be announced.
Okay. Fair point. And I'll ask you a few more questions. I appreciate your time. Any pressure off your shoulders, the whole undefeated thing? Do you feel like now, was it any pressure back then, and does it feel different now?
Yes, it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of pressure. People expect you to do things. People, when you're expected to do things and perform and finish everyone and everything, people don't understand because I did it so smoothly and it was working with great success. But the pressure was there. I have a great poker face, but don't get it twisted. I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I had people I carried on my back all the way to the top. Uh, and it was a lot of weight on me. So for that to finally be done with, to finally be able to go back in there and know that it's okay to lose. I feel like a lot of us, at least for me, I forgot that losing is the reason why I became so good at this entire sport, because every time I would go in there, I would lose a fight or I would lose during training, and I would learn from it and I would adapt to it. But I got used to basically winning even in training, that you kind of just went into this world of I can't lose. I have to do this. I have to be this, and the things that were in my mind and coaching wise were very much of that nature. So now to go back to the roots of what made me me is a lot of trial error and getting better. So now the pressure is gone. I can go back to training and losing to my training partners and knowing it's okay, um, and adjusting and getting better, and then keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. And that's why I become such a pest on the mats when I train jiu-jitsu, because I would have a guy who choked me out 50 times, and then when he chokes me 49 times, I took it as a victory. And then he choked me 48. And next you know, he's choking you 15 times. Next you know, you're not getting choked, and before you know it, you're choking him. So that I fell in love with again, which is something that I lost, which is, for me, it was ultimately the reason why I became so good and why I fell in love with martial arts to begin with. It was learning what to do, how to do it, when not to do it, and how to do it better. So now I'm doing that again. That's back in my life, and I feel great.
And coming off that loss, you're back in a number one contender fight. You could find yourself back to a title shot. Is this how you envisioned it to be? Were you hoping to kind of not take time off in sense the actual time, but in terms of fight somebody else? Or are you happy to get right back to it in terms of number one contender fight and right back to a title shot?
I love competition. That's to me. There's the ultimate way of testing yourself right now is fighting for me, against another individual who's hungry. So I love the competition. Obviously, I'm not in this sport to fight easy fights or fights that people think I'm going to win. I want when people look at my fights to go, I think he might lose. I like Ortega, but he might lose. That's what I want, because then you win and they're like, damn, okay, this guy is he's crafty. He's doing something, and you can only do that against top people. If you can't fight people who are not as good as you or on your level, and really like I'm not used. I don't like that. I like testing myself and going in there and having a real war. Um, so yeah, I love going back in there. The fact that this is the winner gets the title shot again, it feels great because this guy's on the run right now. He's had great success with his last 2, 3 fights. So it's a good thing for me to go in there, shut this guy down, say hi to the world, and tell him I'm back, and go in there again and test myself against the best again.
And how excited are you that you finally put pen to paper, that you've got a date, and the fight's happening very soon?
That's the best feeling. The best feeling is right there when you get that contract. It gives you a date. It gives you an opponent. It gives you a purse. Gives you everything, and then you're like, you know what? This is real right here. There's no more like trash talk or any BS over the internet. It's just, this is business now. I signed a contract. You signed a contract. We have a date. I'm gonna do everything like in that I can control of to not get injured again, and make it there. And then give the world a hell of a show.
And I know they didn't officially announce, but all signs are pointing to Abu Dhabi, jiu-jitsu capital of the world. I mean, I know you're going to be locked up in a bubble in Yas Island, but does that excite you at all? Being in Abu Dhabi, being a jiu-jitsu place?
I gotta find out if they have waves over there, so I can take my surfboard and ask Dana if I can stay a little bit longer after the fight. But we'll see. I heard they have no waves. I'm hoping they have a wave pool at the amusement park or something, but who knows?
I can tell you not really, unfortunately, to break it to you, but who knows when you get there.
Yeah. Well, see, island's an island. I love island life anyways, so I always find the best of it.
I'm assuming you've never been there, right?
No.
Okay.
It's a private island.
Well, no,
I'm
I
not
know.
trying to fly out right now during COVID.
No, I know. I was talking about in the past, like Abu Dhabi being like a jiu-jitsu place. Obviously, they hold a lot of tournaments. Okay.
I've never been there. It's my first time.
Okay. Because, I mean, Yas Island, they're going to close it off for you guys. It's not usually private. I think there's the whole mystique of it, but they're going to lock you guys in a bubble, kind of like what they did with the NBA and stuff like that. But obviously, jiu-jitsu is massive over there, and I know you won't really get to go see the schools or anything like that, but I know they'll be very excited that you're going to be competing there. They've been covering the event really intensely, so it'll be really cool for them, obviously, with your jiu-jitsu background, that you're going to get to compete there.
Yeah. We got to get a submission out there.
That, I'm telling you, they go crazy. No fans, but there'll be a lot of eyes on the fight. A lot of eyes from the region, at least. So it'll be definitely very exciting there.
All right, we need to give Team Jiu-Jitsu a win.
Absolutely. I'll ask you one last question. Now that you're talking about submissions, is that the way you envision the fight going down?
I'll take what I can get. Lately, like I said, my career has been like it was submission, knockout, submission, knockout, submission, knockout. I don't know which one this one's gonna fall under. When I'm in there, I see an opportunity and the magic window opens up and I take it. And I have no personal interest in whether it's a submission or a knockout. I'm not emotionally attached to one. I'm attached to the victory in any way, shape, or form. So we'll see what happens, If the opportunity is there to knock them out, I will. If the opportunity is there to submit them, I will. And if I have to take it to the points and the judges, I will.
And previously when I'd asked you, because it's chopped up a little bit, this is not personal in your eyes, right? The fight between you, Zombie, everything that's happened in the past, this isn't personal, right?
Not really. Maybe for him, I think it's more like we genuinely want to punch each other in the face. It's not too personal. It's basically semi-personal. Usually you sign a contract and you fight someone and you understand that that's your opponent and you have respect for them. But me and him lost respect for each other. And now, I guess if you want to call it personal, it's personal, but it's more of like someone I don't like that I want to hit in the face that I get to without going to jail. If it makes sense.
Yeah. All right. There you have it. Brian, I really appreciate you taking the time. Apologize for all these technical difficulties, but I'm glad I got to speak to you at least for a bit. So thank you so much for taking the time, and really looking forward to this fight. I think it's one that we could say probably one of the most highly anticipated of 2020, or in a long time at least. So best of luck out there, and yeah, really looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.